Another lost season is in the history books, and Jay Gruden is vowing change. What did Gruden say to his players today? How do the Redskins turn this mess around? And what positives are there going forward? Plus your calls as well at 703-387-1020. It's all tonight on After the Game with Darrel Young.
Live from News Channel 8, this is After the Game with Darrel Young.
Sad day today at the park. Pensive, perplexed. That's what it looked like out at the park in the locker room today as the players packed up and officially said so long to the 2014 season. What started in late July at camp with so much hope and promise ended with a stud Sunday at FedEx Field. Redskins finished 4-12 and now move on to the offseason. Hi, everybody. I'm Alex Parker. Darrel Young. This is After the Game with Darrel Young. DY, how are you?
I'm good.
Just good?
Yeah.
Better than fair?
Yeah, it's been a rough season, so I think I need to step away from the game a little bit. I don't know, I just need a break.
When you woke up today and you knew that it was over, no more practice, no more thinking about Wednesday and film and blah, what's that like?
Rough, another opportunity lost to, try to accomplish that goal that you try to reach at the beginning of the season, when you go into training camp or even all season, so honestly, just another opportunity wasted, but it's something, that everyone goes through. Like you said, there's only one team happy in the end, but obviously you want to finish better than you did. But, we have some positives to take out of the season, and we got to move forward with things and not dwell on what happened.
You beat the Eagles, and then there was a chance to win 2 straight to end the season over NFC East rivals. Yesterday's game, save for the 1 score to Deshaun, which gave you guys an early lead. It was a pretty ugly outing. What was it like from your perspective?
It was rough. We left a lot of things out there on the field, defensively, offensively, special teams wise, and they capitalized on everything that we capitalized on in the first game. When we played them, they had 2 turnovers, or we had 2 turnovers that they capitalized on, and like you said, you see Des Bryant running for a touchdown. They did some things, that we knew they were, capable of doing. We tried to eliminate the big plays, but they made the big plays when they needed to, and they won the game, unfortunately, in the end.
When they do that onside kick, and they didn't have much to play for, and they're leaving their starters in the whole game seemingly, and then they do an onside kick, that would rub me the wrong way? Like, what are you doing?
I don't think they were, I don't know if they know what happened with the Seattle game and stuff, so they were playing for something, but you've seen it, week in and week out. You get a bye week, those teams usually lose in the playoffs, that first week back, and obviously, you just go out there. I mean, they seen something on film and they took advantage of it. Maybe you'd have thought they would have waited till next year, but who's to say that we'll have the same coach, the same players next year doing the same things. So hopefully we're in a better situation. Hopefully we take advantage of an onside kick next year.
703-387-1020 is our lawn and leisure hotline. Give us a call if you want to talk with DY about either the Dallas game or, more importantly, I think, the big picture and where the Redskins go from here. Jay Gruden today was asked, is Robert your quarterback moving forward? Is he the number 1, for lack of a better term, heading into the offseason? Jay wouldn't go there. He said, we got 3 guys. We've seen lots of tape on them, film, whatever they call it now. And we've got time to figure that out. But he didn't go as far as to say RG's number 1 on the depth chart. What'd you make of Robert yesterday, and where do you think you guys are quarterback-wise?
I think he gave us a chance. I think we fell behind early. Like you said, going back to those, some earlier games in the season, you put yourself in a situation where the 2-minute drill is terrible for, every quarterback, because you have to play catch-up and do some things that you wouldn't normally would do in terms of taking chances. Teams know you're going to throw the ball. That makes a screen in there and a draw in there. But, they capitalized and took advantage of their opportunities, like you said. And I thought Robert, played well. I mean, none of us played well, enough to win the game. But I thought everyone, he showed up, and there's been a lot of heat on his back. And I think as a player, I respect him. He came out there and, we came off an emotional high in terms of winning the Philly game. Hopefully, being able to win 2 games in a row. Like I said, we lost, but he showed me some things of where we can go forward with this thing. And I think his work ethic, it's tremendous, And I think for the offseason, I think that we all have to get on board on the same page. And I think this was a great learning experience, even though it sucks going through it. But it's something that none of us want to feel again. You could say that 2 years in a row, you guys feel like this, but it's a different head coach. It's a different regime. It's, I don't know what the feeling will be next year. Who's to say we won't have a bye week next week? Next year going into the playoffs. So we'll see what happens. But I think none of us played it well enough to win the game.
You guys cleaned out your lockers today. Each player, I think, met with the head coach. Did you and Jay have a one-on-one meeting?
We did.
What was that like?
Nerve-wracking, because I don't like going to that office, because last time I went in there, I was released. But
really?
Yeah. He just, well, he just said, hey, I think the world of you, which is always good, coming from a head coach. And he said, I think honestly, looking at what you did this season, we're going to try to do some better things to try to, get the running game, going more, going forward to next year. And, we could have used it in some situations, but we couldn't. And I said, hey, honestly, my role was special teams and, the amount of snaps that I played. Would I've liked to play more? Yeah, but I'd like to win more games. So, I love you as a head coach. I appreciate you just for giving me another opportunity to live my dream, And he said, we'll try to get this thing going next year.
It's a business. We know that. Emotional when you meet with your coach? I mean, if I met with my coach and told him I loved him and vice versa, there'd be something more there than just business. What was the feeling, or no?
Well, I said I love him as a head coach. I didn't say, I was getting on
well, even as a head
stuff
coach
like that, but like you said, it's nerve-wracking because you go into the head coach's offense. You never know what to expect. But when you can be honest to someone about how you really feel about the situation that they put you in as a player, and he's helped me grow a lot as a player. And I've seen things differently. And him having the mindset coming over from Cincinnati that he wants to take this thing over and go forward with things. And we let him down as players. I heard Trent say it yesterday in an interview that he did, and we let him down because he has so many high expectations. And you look at the roster, I mean, the talent's there. What's missing, we don't know. We have to find it. We have to find it quick before all of us are out of jobs.
Jay Gruden talked about and sort of promised that there would be change coming to Redskins Park. Here's some of Jay Gruden's press conference from this afternoon.
I do have a lot of respect for everybody, the way they worked and prepared, but we do have to get better. We do have to make some changes. I promise you this will not be the same football team, football staff right now that we're going to have the start of next year. So we're going to have a lot of changes that are done and made, and hopefully for the better.
Jay Gruden today vowing change. I think a lot of folks expected, maybe the defensive coordinator, maybe some players. Who knows? 703-387-1020 is our lawn and leisure hotline. Cena is in Oxon Hill, Maryland tonight. Hi, Cena. How are you?
Hello. Hi. How are you tonight? How are you, Darrel?
I'm good.
Tonight?
It is Darrel. Thank you.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask 2 questions. I wanted to ask, I'm sorry, Darrel. I was just saying, and it is Tina, by the way, not Cena.
Oh, we're getting all the names wrong tonight.
I was just asking, is this the last show?
No, Darrel. We'll be back for the next, I think, 3 or 4 weeks. Tina, what's your other question? Then DY and I will talk about our immediate future.
Also, too, your contract. Is your contract over with?
I have one more year left.
How long is your contract?
I have 1 more year left.
Okay, 1 more year. Well, that's good. That's all I wanted to check out.
Okay. Thank you, Tina.
Then. All right, then. You ain't going nowhere. No trade, no nothing. Good.
Thank you.
Tina's concerned about how long the show is going to be here, how long you're going to be here. She's keeping us honest. Thank you, Tina in Oxon Hill. We're going to be going up until the Super Bowl, save for 1 week because you're going on
a military tour to Australia to visit troops for the Super Bowl.
And that is an NFL-sanctioned event.
Yes, it is.
How'd you end up doing that?
My brother's in the military, so anything military related I do, and I've done it the last 2-3 years. So actually the last 3 seasons. So this will be my 4th tour. I'm excited, to go over there to a new place, mess with some kangaroos a little bit, try not to get beat up, have some fun.
We're thrilled to have you for the next few weeks, and I'm vowing not to ask you about RG3 when you guys aren't playing. 703-387-1020 is our number. Rick is in Fredericksburg. Rick, stay on the line. We've got to do a break. When we come back, Darrel wanted to get something signed today at the park from, I believe, your favorite Redskin player. We will have that story. It's really cool. Regardless of records, etc. Plus, callers, take note. You can win this big green egg. You got to get through on our lawn and leisure hotline. There you see the number. If you get through, even if you don't get on the air, you're registered. Go to WJLA.com if you want to win the big green egg. We'll be back after this. Here's your injury report brought to you by the Cochran Law Firm. Tough day for the offensive line. Chris Chester suffered a sprained toe. Meanwhile, Trent Williams. Has anybody played through more injuries than Trent Williams? He did it again yesterday. High ankle sprain, and fellow tackle Tom Compton suffered an injured knee. Your injury report brought to you by the Cochran Law Firm. Of course, they'll have plenty of time now to recover, hopefully. Welcome back to After the Game with Darrel Young. I'm Alex Parker. DY, we've talked about this other weeks. Trent Williams is something else. This fellow refuses to not play a game, regardless of what is falling apart on him.
That's why he's our captain, and that's why you try to follow a leader like that, and it says a lot about the offensive line, because all those guys played through a lot of injury, but how many people noticed that Logan Paulson was in that tackle yesterday? And
yeah.
It says a lot about his character, and people criticize him as a tight end, and tight ends aren't playing well and all this other stuff. Well, he stepped in that tackle in the National Football League at 260 pounds.
Yep.
So, I mean, we're stepping up in some places that we need to, and it was just good to see that Logan stepped in there and didn't budge at all. Didn't question anything that the coaches were saying, and him, Trent, Chester, Compton, all those guys, they play hard, man. I'll play with those guys any day.
703-387-1020 is our lawn and leisure hotline. Rick is in Fredericksburg tonight. Hi, Rick. How are you?
How are y'all doing? I love your show.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
I would just like to say I think Morris is a heck of a football player. That man has put out 100% since the beginning of the season yesterday. I like to see him build the offense around him. And the defense, I like to see them build it around Kerrigan. We need some defensive backs that can tackle. And I think we need to trade RG for some players. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. The RG scrutiny will never end, DY, no matter what happens.
You know what? Tony Romo dealt with it for years, and he's the heck of a quarterback right now. He's always been a heck of a quarterback, but his fan base loves him again, So, we got to do something. We win some games, and people will start loving RG again. I'm ready for that time.
Rick talked about Alfred Morris, who I know didn't have the season that he had a couple years ago, but still over 1,000 yards. And when they give him the ball enough, and that's a discussion for another show, Alfred produces.
Alfred does produce. He's a heck of a football player, like you said. He's grown so much from a rookie that came in and was playing fullback in an ugly stance. And I laughed at him every day and said, why did we bring this kid here, But now he's one of the elite guys in the NFL, and he made the Pro Bowl again. He's an alternate in the Pro Bowl again for a reason, because he's one of those guys who consistently shows up and never complains about anything, regardless of how many yards he has. 6 yards for St. Louis. How many backs would sit there and say, well, we didn't do the right things, my O-line this, my O-line that? He didn't say anything like that, And I take the blame for that. 2012 was a great year. 1,613 yards, I believe. Last year, a little under 1,300. This year, maybe a little under 11. I don't even know, but I take the blame for those, because I'm in front of him blocking, and even though my role is reduced a little bit, I still have a part to play in that, because the plays that I am in, I haven't been successful. So he's a heck of a football player. I love him. I hope he gets the Chris Johnson contracts that he deserves one day.
He can buy you watches or cars or steaks or whatever.
Give me a dinner. I'm all right.
There you go. What do you make?
I don't know. Just tell him to get me some sushi.
Oh, okay. I didn't know Alfred could cook. Before we go to Woody in Capitol Heights, Santana Moss, one of the certainly a leader on this team for the last decade, and one of the sort of lost stories from yesterday is that Santana probably played his last game in Washington, may have played his last game, period. DY today in the locker room, before you guys left for the offseason, you wanted to get him to sign a jersey. What was that about?
He's one of my favorite players. I came into the Redskins as a linebacker, and he's one of those guys who just approach the game every day. I love this work ethic. Seen a reduced role the last 2 years, and I said, how can a guy like this be a first-round draft pick, still be playing in year 14, but have a backup role, and not complain about anything, but still get emotional the same way, in the Giants game as he did, as if he were playing, and I said, that says a lot about, what type of guy this is, and I've always respected everything that he did, and I just asked him for a jersey. I've always wanted. I said it for the last couple of years that I was going to get one from him, and he just wrote on it and always stay true to what you do, and he signed it for me. And I'm going to get it framed, and I'm going to hang it up in my apartment, because I respect everything he is as a player, and I hope he comes back next year, because he does a lot for this team, emotionally, physically, and you see him stepping in some spots this season and catch some passes yesterday. And, he has a great history versus Dallas, doing some good things over the years. But he's just one of those guys that's cool, and I'll never forget him.
Santana was asked in the locker room about you wanting his jersey. I think that's relatively rare. Here's what Santana had to say, DY, about your jersey autograph request.
I mean, it comes with, who you are as a person, who you are as a player. I don't expect that, but, when guys appreciate you, like I appreciate a lot of these guys who I played with and who I've become friends with, that's the kind of bond and that's the kind of things that we do, you know, to show our love or whatever, you know, for one another.
Santana Moss, what a pro. We get caught up, DY. I know fans do, and frankly, we do as well, in wins and losses, and this quarterback's got to go, and this coach has to go, and they got to get rid of this guy, get a new this and a new that. At the end of the day, it's people. And what we do for a living, if every year, you know, somebody that I used to work with, you know, had to leave because they weren't good enough or they were too old, that would be really sad. We forget that there are relationships in that 53-man locker room. How do you sort of reconcile what is really a business?
It's rough, like you said, every Tuesday, you know, guys get cut, you know, especially when you lose. And when you win, and there's not really many questions. But like you said, every year, you know, I heard Jay say it'll be change. We don't know where the change will come from. It could be, you know, Jay might remove himself. You never know what's going to happen, you know. But, you know, honestly, like you said, at the end of the day, he's one of those guys, you know, Santana's a leader. He's been here for a long time. He's the longest tenured Redskin on the team and one of the more longest tenured Redskins ever, you know. And, you know, to say that, you know, he shows up to work every day and treats everyone the same. You know, if you're with Santana, everyone knows that he's going to take care of you, you know, regardless of, you know, the bill or anything. It's not about the money. It's because he respects everyone. He says, hey, I just want everyone to have a good time. I don't worry about the stuff I can't control. And that's what you take out of it. And, you know, you want to, you know, he's a father. You know, he's one of those guys who you respect because he goes home, you know, at the end of the day to take care of what's, you know, it's basically what matters. You know, because football doesn't, you know, it doesn't define who you are as a person. And, you know, it's good to see that he can separate that, especially after having the success that he has, you know, as a football player.
Salt of the earth is what they sometimes say about people. Santana Moss, I think, is salt of the earth. Woody is in Capitol Heights on our lawn and leisure hotline. Hi, Woody. What's up?
How you doing today?
Good. What's going on, man?
I'd just like to know, I was trying to say something. I've been a fan since 1959. This is the worst I've ever seen the Redskins play in my life. I'm a season ticket holder. Mr. Young, I like him. He's a good player, one of the best on the team. He actually is a real core Redskins. A lot of this junk they say core Redskins is a bunch of, I don't believe that, but he is. I see him a lot of times. Like I said, I said in section 123, that man be showing, he always give 100%. A lot of them players just be out there just taking like they just free money. They don't want to play hard. That's ridiculous.
Cool.
And the coach said something today that made me upset today when he said he's thinking about bringing back the defense coordinator. I'm trying to figure, is he drinking or he had a bad day or something? Because there's no way in the heck this man should come back. This is the worst defensive coordinator I've seen in my life for the Redskins. For the last, like I said, since '59. I remember the Redskins in the 50s and the 60s, they could lose 35-38. Then also when George Allen came, they changed that around. They started with the defense. When Gibbs came, he started winning with Pardee. But this clown here, Gruden, and this clowns, they need to cut the buddy system out and get some real coaches here.
Woody in Capitol Heights, thank you so much. Goes back to 1959. We got to do a break. I want to ask you on the other side of the break. We got some great video yesterday of sort of disgruntled fans. I want you to tell the fans, DY, if you would please, why they should believe in this football team moving forward. That and more after this. Don't go away.
First quarter against the Cowboys yesterday, 1st and 10, ball on the 31. Robert Griffin III throws a little screen pass to Deshaun Jackson, and D-Jax does the rest. 69 yards for the touchdown for your Normandy Carpenter play of the game.
Man, it's not just that he's fast, like straight line fast. He somehow knows where everybody is, and he knows how to, DY, elude them. There was a little pass over the middle where he sort of took nothing and made it into something because they couldn't catch him.
That's why he's Deshaun Jackson?
That's why it's Deshaun Jackson. Before the break, we got a call from Woody. It goes back to 1959. Has never been this disgruntled. Photographer Kendall Griggs got some good shots. I say good shots in TV. Probably bad shots of Redskins fans sort of wondering, what the heck? Why should we believe that this will ever turn around? DY, what do you tell these folks?
Well, I'm a player. I know how, you know, what it takes every day to show up to, you know, basically practice what you do and try to master your craft. And, you know, it's frustrating, you know. I understand everything that they feel because I'm frustrated as a player because I'm actually in between, you know, the white lines. And, you know, I know what we prepare for every year, beginning of the year. But, you know, honestly, we just love our fans, you know, and we appreciate everything that they do on a daily basis coming out to support, regardless of wins and losses, because the stadium's still full, you know, regardless if it's Dallas fans, Redskins fans, whoever, you know. But our fans mean something to us. And you know, when they had when we feel like they have our back, which they always do, you know, we play better. But, you know, we let them down this year. But, you know, it's growing pains. You got to go through them, and, you know, hopefully next year will be a better year for them.
We will have more with Darrel Young on After the Game with Darrel Young right after this. Don't go away. Welcome back to After the Game with Darrel Young. DY, how does this work? Will you watch football now? Are you going to watch playoff games, or you just get away from it entirely?
No, I'm a football fan. I'm going to watch the games. I mean, I'm not going to support any team that's playing right now, but I'm going to watch football.
Is there a team that you think jumps out as they're the best team? Doesn't mean you have to like them.
It's hard to say that Seattle's going to get beat. I mean, they're a really good football teams playing together who struggled early on and found out the problem and addressed it and fixed it. You know, and now they're a 12-4 ball club after being 4-3 at one point, I believe. So it's hard to go against them. You know, right now they're the defending champs and they're playing really good football.
DY, thank you so much for a great season.
Thank you.
On the show, you're coming back next Monday. We'll talk a little NFL playoffs as they start this weekend. Thank you so much, folks. Tina, Rick, Woody, Frank, thanks for calling. If you didn't get through, Frank, we couldn't get to you. I'm back at 9 o'clock. We'll talk some Redskins year-ender on Toyota Sports Talk right here on News Channel 8. We'll see you then, folks. Have a great night.